Okay, so can you all see my dashboard right now?
Hmm.
Okay, great. So yes, we actually just released this today. So this is the first demo with the new home dashboard. And I'm hoping that that this new dashboard is a lot easier for you all to use and to understand and share the concepts of Rise. Um, so Rise at its core is a time tracker. And I'd say, at a high level, our mission is just to help you guys understand your time better, get more time for focus work, understand, what's interrupting you, is holding you back from being productive so you can be more efficient, get more done, and then at the end of the day, have more time to, spend with your family and your friends.
Hmm.
So in the home dashboard, you'll see there's one main column, right? And that's your activity column. And so that is the core of Rise. This is basically will show where Rise automatically tracks and categorizes your time, what that time is going. So um, at its core, Rise is actually like a very simple data structure. It just has tracking events, and tracking events are just a start and a stop time, a title, a URL, and an app ID, a URL that's available. And then what you do in Rise is, you create categorization rules. We come with some pre-defaults that look at each event and say, okay, is this gmail.com? Well, that must be email. Is this docs.google.com? That must be documenting. And it's really basic. And so you have those events that get converted into your categories, and
Hmm.
that's what you see in this timeline in a readable format. So you can see really quickly, really easily in the activity column that I spent 7 to 9:30 in code and video conferencing. Then I did some product marketing, I did some customer support, and then I did some coding and had stand up. If I want to get into details, I can hover over any of these events and you can see both the top 5 categories and the top apps and websites. Under apps and websites, you'll see code. That's Visual Studio Code. So sorry for any confusion there. But yeah, that's the division. If I click on that and click view details, you can actually view all the specific, apps and websites for this time range. And what makes Rise so powerful is that you can track very, very granularly, and you can create completely custom and customize like completely on how you track your time. So this view, I'll just cover really quickly. This is actually how you will go about categorizing things. So if I click view details, you can see from 9:45 to 10:30, I spent a lot of time in. These are all the apps and websites I spent time in. If I click on the category, right, this modal will pop up, and this is the categorization modal. So it says, change the time I spent in rize.candy.io.
Hmm.
Here, I can create a new category or choose an existing category, and I could actually recategorize that. And I'll have options below as well to create a rule moving forward, or just create a rule for this time period. And this time period in this case is, 9:45 to 10:45. And if
Okay.
I create a rule moving forward, it's going to change all of the time, all of those, like all the time spent in rize.candy.io for this period. And then any new time coming forward that I spend in it, it will also categorize that as whatever the new category is. If I change for this time period only, it's only going to change that. But if any new events, they will be categorized as that original category. And so you can do this for apps and websites at the top level, but you can also get very granular. So if you click this little arrow here, you'll see a list of all the different URLs that are linked and the titles that I spent in for that app or website. And just like
Hmm.
I can categorize at the top level, I can click a specific URL and I can categorize based on the title or the URL. And I have the option to match that URL exactly or match it partially. Similarly with the title, I can match that exactly or partially. I can change for the period or create one moving forward. So you can get really granular. That's a little bit more of an advanced feature. But yeah, I just thought I'd highlight it. How we recommend with categorization. So Rise comes with a bunch of defaults, but we can't, we don't have categories for every app or website in existence. So there's probably a few that we won't capture.
Hmm.
And if they're not in the default, they will start out as miscellaneous. And everything you see categorized as miscellaneous, we don't really recommend you spending the time to categorize it. You don't need to categorize every app and website. That would just be way too much work. However, once you spend a certain amount of time in a miscellaneous app or website, Rise is going to recategorize that as uncategorized. And once it's uncategorized, that's when we would recommend taking the time to categorize that app or website. Normally, we found that, within a week or two of users using the product, if you just spend a little, maybe 5 minutes a day, looking at your categories, seeing what's uncategorized, changing it to categorized, changing anything that sort of feels off. Once you get that initial, first few days of spending those 5 minutes at the end of the day, you really should be set moving forward. And I rarely run into an uncategorized app or website these days.
So
Really quickly.
question,
Yeah.
So uncategorized would appear in miscellaneous, or it'll come as uncategorized?
It will come as uncategorized, as its
Okay.
own category, once you spend a certain threshold of time in that app or website.
Okay.
Really quickly, I'm going to hop off the homepage just to show you, while we're talking about this, the categories tab. That's another important tab. So here you're going to see your categories by app, by your breakdown by category and by app or website. This is a really way you can really easily review all your categories for a specific day, or if you click on the week, you'll see the week option. And what you can do is you can select, like on a day sense, you can click on like video conferencing, and you'll see when you were active for video conferencing. And if you click this little pencil and pencil icon, it will show you all the video conferencing apps and websites for the entire day, and you can make changes. Oh, and there's one more concept I'll show just because it was sort of set over here. When you choose that option to override a category but not change the rule, you'll see this yellow flag. That means that code was overridden, but just for this time period for today. And so that will happen if you explicitly override things, or if you have a setting which turns on to override everything in meetings as the category of that meeting. Yeah, so that's just a small, also sort of advanced thing. But yeah, so once you get categories, that's really important in Rise. Oh, I think I just saw a chat. What's the main use of the data recorded, and how does it teach me? Answer when convenient. So I think that's, I think there's a few answers to this, depending on what you're interested in. I would say at its core, what we want to show in Rise and in the activity feed is how exactly you spent your time. So like categories represent types of work. So if I want to look back on the day, I want to say, where did my time go? And if I can answer that, then I can answer, am I spending my time on the right things? Those are really important questions to have. On top of that, you can say, once you know where your time is going, you can also answer questions like, am I using my time efficiently? Am I spending my time on the right things? How much time am I working every day? I mean, that was one of the questions that really triggered my co-founder and I to start building Rise, is that we had no insight into how we were actually spending that time. So, just understanding where you're spending your time and what type, of work you're doing can be really, really important to, improving your efficiency at work and being more productive, so you can get things done more quickly. A great example is if you see you're spending, tons of time in social media, right? Then maybe you could work a little more efficiently, or maybe that's something you need to think about doing. But that's the same applies to meetings, right? Or Slack or messaging. Without that visualization of how we're spending that time, it's really hard to know where we're being inefficient. And so let me know if I can dive a little deeper on that at all. Okay, and so that's awesome. So that is the main column, your activity column. You can drag and drop here if you wanted to manually add time. Through add and overwrite time, you can select to remove time, and again, you can view details as well. You can also, if you click on a block, you can add to a project, add or overwrite the time, tweak it however you like. So it's really easy to take action on that time through your activity column. The next concept is projects. So Some users use projects, some users don't. It's completely up to you. We're actually going to be adding a lot of functionality to this feature soon. But projects are just a really easy way. If activity is like your raw data, track data, and the types of work you're doing, like whether it be coding or email or messaging, projects you can think of as sort of work items. What are the specific projects you're working on, or tasks, or clients, or even side projects? Right now, you have to manually create these, though soon we'll be adding the ability to automatically create them. But as you can see, one project that I track is bug fixes and improvements. So you can see this morning, I was working on some bug fixes and improvements for this product and marketing. If I click on this block, I can add that to the vertical timeline, which is I was working on, sending that release out. And you can see that that project is now listed right in this project tab. It will also show up in top projects, and that also will go into your projects feed where you can see time breakdowns for your project. What's cool about projects is if you track these over time, you can also compare projects and see, if one project is taking a lot longer, you can hover and see, or go into the projects tab to dive deeper and see, oh, wow, I spent about, 30% more of my time during this project in video conferencing, right? So maybe there was some issues, syncing with that. And so, yeah, that's just another way to use this. There's also a lot more functionality coming to projects soon, but for now it's pretty straightforward. The next column is sessions. So sessions are something that's really unique to Rize, but one of the things that make it really powerful. Sessions are basically periods of time that Rize is going to designate as one of three types of work. I would say focus. The three types are focus, meeting, or break. So we've identified those three types as sort of important, and they can each be created manually and automatically. So focus basically is built on your categories. And it's really cool because you can, Rize will automatically detect when you're focused, and you can see how much focus you're getting each day, which is a huge part of, being productive. And actually, I'd say one of the challenges in, the modern workplace. So since, we spoke about categories earlier, focus auto detection is built on those categories. So Rize basically looks at all your categories and it divides them into focus and non-focus categories. And if you spend enough time in focus categories, Rize will create a focus session. So to see your focus categories, you can just head to settings, press the period, or you can just click settings in the bottom left corner. You can scroll down and you'll see exclude from focus time and a list of categories. These are all the categories that will be excluded from focus time. Everything else is considered a focus category. And so if focus is not picking up accurate for you, I'd recommend looking at how you're spending your time during those periods where you feel focused, but Rize isn't detecting focus, and seeing what categories you're spending in. And then you can edit this category list to make sure that those line up. For example, some people consider email focus, others don't. And so if focus is being created when it shouldn't be, or not being created when it should be, you might just need to tweak this list. We'll come back to this too. The other aspect is, sorry, I see your questions, and I'll jump into those right after I finish the sessions column. But these are great questions. So I'll just really quickly cover. That's focus. The other way you can create these sessions is just manually by dragging and dropping. You can also use the session timer to create those as well. Meetings and breaks are the other two session types. They are similar to focus sessions in that they can be created automatically or manually. So for breaks, Rize, anytime you just walk away from the computer, your computer will go idle or go to sleep, and Rize will automatically detect and create a break if you've gone for more than 5 minutes and less than an hour. You can also manually start a break from the timer. And then for meetings, Rize will basically automatically create a meeting based on your calendar events if you have 2+ attendees. So that's what you can see happen here, and happen here as well. And there's some advanced kind of features you can do with your calendar integration that we can cover later. But yeah, so that's like an important sessions are a really powerful aspect of Rise, but they can be a little bit confusing. But again, I'd say just making sure your focus categories are accurate is the first step. And so River asks, how do you suggest expecting the data? I'll be more specific. Is Rise a tool that mainly tracks data and I expect it once a day, week, or is it to be tool to be used along the day and being interactive with? I would say Rise is sort of a flexible tool in that you can use it in a few different ways. I mean, it's powerful that it runs in the background and, just automatically captures your time. So I would say, checking it throughout the day is probably a good idea, especially at the beginning, just to make sure that categorization is happening correctly. But if you're tracking your focus throughout the day, I'm in it all the time because I want to see, am I getting enough focus? If not, why? I also use it to check my upcoming meetings, what's going on there. And a lot of our users use it that way. We also have the session timers. We're in a meeting now, but you can start focus sessions through this timer as well and start meetings. So a lot of people are using Rise basically to pace their work throughout the entire day. And then we also have a lot of other users that just let it run in the background. We'll send an email with the summary, and sometimes they just, check that email and open the dashboard if they want to dig deep in anything. I think the power of Rise is that it's just one of the main benefits is it's so automatic. It can just run in the background and sort of give you accurate data of how you're spending your day. But if you want to be using it, and guiding yourself throughout the day a little more hands-on, it can also do that. I would recommend using Rise as much as possible, but I'm biased. So yeah, let me know if you have any more questions about that. Okay, yeah. So again, I'm just going to jump back to this last column. Cool. This is the calendar column. If you integrate with your Outlook or Google Calendar, the events will be listed here. You can see some events are shaded pink. Those are ones with 2+ attendees. Some are shaded like teal. That's anything with focus in the title or description. And then some are blue. That's anything with break in the title or description. So that's sort of a time boxing technique that you can use. But Rise will, again, automatically create meeting sessions for any meetings with 2+ attendees that you've confirmed at. Okay, and then this last card here is a daily summary. So you'll have at the very top your work hours. Work hours is calculated based on your categories as well. Just like we have focus and non-focus categories, we also have work and non-work categories. And your work hours is going to be the sum of all the time you spend in work categories, as well as your break time. And you can set, work hour goals and get notifications when you hit those. Below that, you'll see of your work hours, how much will you spend in focus, meetings, and breaks. And then you'll also see below that a list of your top categories for the day and top projects. So that is a really high level of the dashboard. As I mentioned, we have, the categories tab where you can jump to see category breakdown of the day. Productivity tab, which is sort of a work in progress since we just launched this home tab. There will be some changes coming here as there's a lot of overlap with the home tab now. But the main purpose of this tab is just to show you productivity insights. The projects tab, this is going to show you project breakdowns. So, I could see for the week which projects I spent on, click on any one of those. And if I click this little pencil tab in the projects tab, it's going to show me, this project report. So it'll show me, looks like the apps and websites need to be fixed, but it will show me the categories, how much I spent on this project in this time period, broken down by day as well, and the top URLs for that as well. Again, there's a lot more functionality coming to projects soon. Here is the session timer. So right now I'm in a meeting. This is what like the live meeting looks like. But if I were to end that, I could see, I have a break timer as well. I can start a focus meeting or break session. If I click start, you'll see, I can enter a goal. I can add project tags. I can set a duration. I can even choose focus music, which is kind of cool. So this is a way using the session timer that you can use Rise in a little more hands-on way. But it's completely up to you. The last section, which I'll cover also very quickly, is the goals section, we have a lot of improvements planned for this as well, but you can add a goal which is based around your categories as well. So mine is about reducing social media. That's time spent in social media category. And then it'll just give you some high level stats and well as message you with some notifications as you work towards that goal each day. Yeah, and so that's sort of the highlight of everything. The last thing I'll call out is we do have this support button here. So actually there's two things. First, Rise has a lot of shortcuts. So if you press Command K on your dashboard or Control K if you're on Windows, Command K on Mac OS, you'll see this command bar. You can search for quick things. You can navigate to, go to goals, right? And it will jump you there, or go to, home, right? Your dashboard. So that's just a nice little thing. You can even, start breaks, start sessions from this. So you can start like a focus or break or meeting, and it has the shortcuts there as well. We also have this support tab here that has video tutorials, our user guide, our Discord community, our changelog, which are all valuable links. And you can always chat support us or email support with questions.